Attention, please. The show starts in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world at this particular moment, and welcome to the David Starr Experience. I got a question this morning, and forgive me for such an early rise. I felt like I needed to say something. I've been fairly calm about it on social media, but after what I just saw while scrolling through Sonia Massey's internet, it troubled me. It troubled me a lot. So I figured I'd jump on the game and really, kind of take my mind and put it somewhere where it could do some good. And it circled back basically to why was this cop hired in the first place? So let's talk about it. So I saw a report on CBS this morning, scrolling through YouTube, and I just so happened to catch the article they did where they basically talked about this cop, Grayson, basically not, how can I put this? Basically, this dude was hired with this department, had several different jobs in several different departments throughout the last couple of years. What was it? 6 jobs in the last couple of years. And he actually got in trouble and I think fired from his last job because he wouldn't terminate a pursuit. Now, you ain't got to be a law enforcement officiant to know that when your sergeant and your captain tells you terminate a pursuit, you're supposed to terminate a pursuit. Not only did this idiot not terminate the pursuit, he is responsible for damaging a police cruiser because he hit a deer traveling with his license sirens off. He was driving and they told him terminate, and he did not terminate the pursuit. And the man turned around and turned his license sirens off so that, you know, I don't really know what he thought he was going to do. Like, he doesn't have dash cams in his car. Like, they can't go back and review. Like, they're not going to go back and review. This is why I say this is so idiotic. This whole situation is completely idiotic. He should not have been allowed to be hired with this department. That's first and foremost. There's no way in the world in any other, well, I'm not going to say in any other, but anywhere else, he would have been rejected from this job after some of the things they ended up digging up. I thank God for Oprah requests. I thank God for requests to access to records for certain people, because this man basically, he destroyed his own career. This man went out there and basically shot this woman for nothing. He shot this woman for absolutely nothing. She did nothing hostile. She was actually very pleasant based on the body worn camera from the partner. She was very, very respectful and very peaceful. She even said "I love you" to both the officers, even the one that was being a complete asshole to her. Grayson was being a complete jerk, and this woman was so nice to him. There were several issues with this video. I know we can't really go into the whole thing now, but let's just let's just be real about this. This man shot this woman in the face because he got offended because his demonic spirit got called out. She called out that demon that was in him, and he took it the wrong way, and he shot this woman for nothing. He shot this woman because his little feelings were hurt. Oh, my little feelings are hurt. I'm sorry. I'm a... Sonia Massey should still be here with her children, with her babies. But now they got to bury this woman because this cop couldn't check his ego at the door. That's basically what it was. The whole time the body camera was on. This man went out of his way to make this woman feel uncomfortable. He walked into her home very hostile, even while they were standing at the door. Even while they were at the doorway, uh, waiting for her to answer the door, the cop was being a jerk. He was being a complete jerk, mad because she didn't answer the door. And then when she comes to the door, what took you so long to answer the door? Man, you better be glad there wasn't a black man in that home, because that situation would have probably turned out a little differently. He would have came to the door with a little bit more respect had a black man answered that door. Because you know us, we don't care if you're wearing a badge or not. You come to the door with disrespect. That's how you go. That's what you're gonna meet when you get in it. We don't do that. That woman was so nice to that man, and it ended up costing her her life because this man didn't know how to check his ego at the door. We're not even gonna get into the whole "I rebuke you" part. We're not even going. You know what? No, I take that back. We're gonna touch on that a little bit. This is the problem I have with a lot of officers that don't look like us in our communities. This is one of the issues that we have as African Americans with Caucasian officers in our communities. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Don't get it twisted. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes you need a fresh set of eyes and a different perspective, and they need to be in our communities, and they're wanted in our communities. But when you have officers like this Grayson cat who just don't care, who let his ego make a bad decision for him, he essentially threw a temper tantrum because this woman said to him, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." You want to know the ultimate reason why Sonia Massey is no longer with us today? Sonia Massey is no longer with us today because this officer doesn't have a clue about black culture, doesn't have a clue about what it means when someone says, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Whatever inner demon that he was dealing with at that time, it came out when she called him out. If you believe the way that black people believe, especially black Christians, like super religious people, when you feel a demonic spirit or a spirit that isn't gentle and nice and whatnot enter your home, you call it out. And according to the scriptures, that devil, that demon, or whatever is supposed to flee. You know who would actually be perfect to talk about that subject? My BFF Cynthia Rose. So Supernatural AOC. I know she's probably going to see this, but she's actually better suited to talk about that part of it because yeah, that's some old craziness that this man walked in her home with. Anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, ladies and gentlemen. Um so this guy here, he's done. I'm not even gonna say his name no more. That former officer is done, cooked, done for. It's a wrap, right? Here's the kicker. Um, Sonia Massey should not have been had to dealing with that situation to begin with. They called earlier in the day. Her mother, even called to try to get some help for her child. Right? Her child was in this community what they call a mental health consumer. That means that she has mental health issues and she's basically a consumer. She's seeking some sort of treatment, right? Therefore, with her seeking said treatment, she's supposed to be given the respect and dignity of having whatever issue that she has and being able to receive the help that she needs. She didn't receive that. She received a bullet for it. She didn't receive that. She received a gunshot wound for it. It's a shame. It's sad. It's disgusting. It's horrible. This woman's mother tried to call and get her some help, even asked for them to send non combative officers. This woman pleaded for them to send her daughter some help. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting what her daughter had to deal with from the moment that man entered her home, from the moment that demon walked in her house. Because that's essentially what he is. He was a demon that walked into her home and took her life, all in the name of said so-called law. All because he thought he was doing the right thing by trying to do whatever law, but it cost this woman her life. Now, there were several red flags. We know that this man should not have been employed by this department. How about this? Not only does he need to go, which he's pretty much done. Police chief, he's got to go too. Yes, police chief has to go as well because he's the one that hired him. He's the one that put Sonia Massey in the situation to have to deal with this officer in the first place by hiring this man who apparently had a history with the family to begin with. He had a history with the family. He had a history with Miss Massey. And that history is apparently what factored into his decision to shoot this woman in the face. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand any of it at all. Sonia Massey should still be here among us. But this man who had a history, apparently now, the one I just saw just a little while ago, the article, this man had several, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but several. We're talking approaching double digit issues with his conduct, with him apparently recording his drug busts and posting them on social media, which is a massive no in the law enforcement world. You can't do that. That violates all kinds of privacy laws. That is like a absolute no, red flag, no bueno. That violates so many privacy laws. It's like you're not authorized to post that stuff. That's what you have senior members of law enforcement for in your own community, captains, chiefs, that type of thing. You're posting drug arrests. You're doing all type of stuff. Disobeying orders by ignoring requests to stand down from police pursuits. This is exactly why a lot of departments have no chase policies now. You are not allowed to give chase when it comes to chasing suspects in your cruisers because of the risk of someone getting hurt. He's the prime example. Imagine if that was someone crossing the road that didn't see his light, that didn't see his car coming in the dark of night because this idiot turned off his lights and sirens. Imagine that. Someone crossing the street because you're doing almost 80 going down the road and someone walks in front of his cruiser not paying attention. Now we're talking about another murder charge because you didn't kill somebody because you think you're super cop. This man came into her home with a hostile attitude and killed this woman for absolutely no reason. And when I tell you I want this to go as high up the food chain as it needs to be, as it needs to go, oh, I'm talking about there needs to be federal investigations similar to Ferguson, similar to the NYPD, similar to how other departments have handled misconduct about their officers. Police chief got to go, the commissioner got to go, whatever oversight committee that was in charge of hiring this man, they got to go. There's several heads that need to be collected for this one. I'm saying there needs to be several heads that got to roll because ultimately y'all hired this man. Ultimately, y'all gave this man police powers in your state. You gave this man a job to be able to execute people, and those that are responsible for not catching this oversight of dereliction of duty, of misuse of police powers, they all need to go. As far as I'm concerned, everybody, there needs to be a clean sweep, and there needs to be, they're promising reform. From what I saw this morning, they're talking about they're going to do a review of all current officers. So you might have some people that might be losing their jobs soon, from the way it sounds. Because if they start, my thing is this, and this is the part that's really disgusting about this whole thing. You mean to tell me y'all didn't think about doing all these background checks and reforms and stuff before y'all hired this guy? So you mean to tell me my some of my relatives can get a job that may have criminal records? You mean to tell me some of them may be able to get a job? You mean to tell me people that are freshly released from prison essentially can get a job with the police department now? I mean, people that have shady backgrounds can get a job with police departments as long as they don't find out about said misconduct doing whatever. I'm gonna tell you what you do. You want real reform? Let's try this because no one seems to be able to come up with tangible solutions to these problems. I got one for you. You ready for this one? And I speak with experience to this one because I'm familiar with the industry. Here you go. I got one word for you: clearinghouse. You need a national clearinghouse. What are you talking about, Laverne? I'll tell you. A clearinghouse essentially is similar to what the trucking industry has now. Say you work for company X. I won't use names. Say you work for company X. And while an employee for company X, you get caught in your personal vehicle driving recklessly and you get a drunk driving ticket or a citation, whatever, right? But you get this ticket for drunk driving and you somehow manage to evade being found out about said drunk driving charge. You leave that company because your company has a policy on drunk driving, right? Before this situation actually took place, you actually could go out and get another job with another company driving commercial vehicles. Not anymore. You essentially could slide under the radar and not be forced to, cop to driving drunk or receiving said drunk driving charge. You could essentially skate with that situation. But now they have what's called a clearinghouse, which is basically your name goes on a list, and that list is nationwide. So whatever company you get with has to run your name through this clearinghouse, and if your name pops up, you're automatic no hire. You're cooked. You're done. Because I remember a few years ago they had brought this up about guys being able to get hired with these companies, and they've got all kinds of crazy driving records and charges and whatnot, where guys are just able to skip and hop through different companies and fly under the radar. You can't do that no more. Now you gotta, your name goes on a federal, like a federal database where you're done. You can't just run and run from company to company and think you're going to skate away and not have to answer for said drunk driving charge. Now you really gotta. I mean, even if you think you know somebody that can hide that, that can help you with that, you can't. You can't, and it's over for you. Why can't police unions? Why can't police departments have the same thing? Why can't there be some sort of clearinghouse where bad rogue cops can get placed on a list? And I'm not even going to say bad rogue cops. I'm going to dial that back a little bit. I'm going to say cops with particularly interesting backgrounds and histories when it comes to different law enforcement agencies. Why can't there be a clearinghouse where officers from every single district in every single county and every single city and every single state have to get checked into a system where if you've ever won a badge, you have to be on this registry, and every single act of misconduct that you have on your record gets placed on this. Once you get placed on this list, you have to do what's called a show cause hearing, where you have to go before the department that you're trying to get hired on and the department that you left. There needs to be some sort of meeting, hearing, come together, think tank, something where said department that you're trying to get hired onto has to sit down, either face to face or a phone call or something. But a conversation needs to be had with your former employer as to why your name is on this clearinghouse list. And then they can make the determination that, hey, this is what happened with this situation. He did one, two, three, whatever. And, we're going to let that slide or whatever. He's a good cop, blah, blah, blah. And you'll either get hired on or you won't. But something needs to happen to where this does not happen again. I'm not understanding why this was even allowed to go on to begin with, because this officer had no business being hired by this department. None at all. Should have never went down, should have never, ever, 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 ever happened. This officer did this woman so wrong because he couldn't check his ego at the damn door. I thank God for that other officer's body cam footage. I wish I could recall his name off the top of my head while doing this. But that officer having his body camera on like he was supposed to. Let me tell you something. If you're on shift and your body camera goes out, you're supposed to notify dispatch. I bet you he didn't. I bet you he didn't. Because somehow he turned his body camera on after he shot her. Like, what did you think that was going to do? Your body camera was off. So as far as they're concerned, you're cooked. And I just found out this morning, that's another one. I just found out this morning that the union that he was in that originally backed him to get his job back, they done walked it back and said, no, we're not going to pursue this. So my question is, what, y'all didn't look at the body camera footage either? Y'all so ignorant. Y'all just was like, hell no, we're gonna back the blue. And then when they saw that what was going on with the body camera, they're like, oh, whoa, we need to dial this down a bit because homeboy looked guilty as hell. So that's just one of the things that really pisses me off about the situation. Like, this man was allowed to execute this woman when he didn't have to. She didn't have to die. Her son doesn't have to grow up without a mother. This woman was executed over a pot that was allegedly thrown. I don't think we're all so. And that's another thing too. I'm not gonna get into the whole war of words on social media with this Dana Dane woman and all that. I ain't gonna get into all that because ignorance is bliss, and some people just live in it. So I'm not gonna do that. Get into that whole thing on TikTok about that woman. But yeah, if you don't know the facts, shut your mouth. If you don't have, if you don't know the difference between a fake video and a real video, just log off. Just log off the internet until you can get proof. Because some people are just stupid and dumb for no reason. I don't get why people get on this internet and try to play detective and try to play. Oh, you're not a forensic specialist when it comes to videos. But everybody knew that video apparently was not, what it was, what she thought it was. So, like I said, whatever. But Sonia Massey should still be here, and because of the ignorance, the neglectfulness, the sheer incompetence of that entire department, that woman is not here now. We're not even going to get into the 911 calls because take it from somebody that used to be in the field. Yeah, there's a lot of culpability there, buddy. There's a lot of culpability there, pal. Please understand, there are some people in that entire department that are about to have some really uncomfortable conversations in the next several weeks if they're not having them already, which I hope they are. But mark my words, there are some people that are going to have some very uncomfortable conversations regarding what happened, why, and where do we go from here. There are some people that are probably going to lose their jobs behind this. Us, and I'm talking aside from that former officer. There are some people that are about to get called into HR and are about to get told some very unsettling news behind their acts or lack of actions. That other officer, I applaud that other officer for attempting to save that woman's life. Because on that body camera, we're going to talk about it. On that body camera, that woman was lying there on the floor. That other officer, the one that was whose hands were shaking, who had an emotional moment after that officer pulled the trigger, that man made attempts to save her life. After she was fired upon, said officer, the second officer basically was like, "Hey, I'm going to get my med kit." The first officer, the demon, says, "Oh no, she's done. That's a headshot." But I'm trigger warning. This is going to sound unsettling, but we got to talk about it. You can hear on the body camera, and I'm pretty sure if anyone listens to the tape enough, you don't have to watch it because I don't care if they blurred it out. You can still see stuff that's kind of unsettling. When you get to the part, you got to watch the whole body camera footage. You have to watch the entire thing. As you're watching it, I want you to think about something. As you're watching the body camera footage, listen to the part after he walks up to her and basically is trying to apply pressure to her wound. You can hear Sonia Massey breathing during the time that this officer is trying to apply aid. Very similar, very eerily similar to George Floyd's situation. We saw him breathing, we saw him stop. because that man had his weight on that man's chest. Similar situation. That officer, the second officer with the body camera, that man was trying to render aid to her to stop the bleeding. And you heard this woman in agonal respirations. Essentially, she was in the throes of death when that officer tried to apply pressure to try to stop the bleeding. And the other officer standing there trying to figure out, oh God, I screwed up. What do I do now? He was trying to basically figure out a cover story. He was trying to figure out a cover story. Yeah, you're done. That second officer was trying his best to at least help this woman. I'll give him that. At least he tried to help. The other one, the demon, just sat there and was like, done, cooked, dead to rights. Got him dead to rights. The other officer tried to help out. Unfortunately, the efforts were futile. And it's really sad because she didn't have to die. She did not have to die. Not for that. Not over that. Not over that. Like, come on, bro. She died because your ego wouldn't allow you to take rebuke. You thought that woman was gonna throw that pot of boiling water on you, bro. You must be out your mind. That woman wasn't thinking about throwing the water on you, pal. She wasn't, and you know it. It's a shame, man. I'm really disgusted by this. Really disgusted. But I hope that they come to some sort of understanding that everybody's got to go. Everybody's got to go. The only person that I don't feel hostile towards in this situation was the other officer, the one that at least tried to help. Until I see or until there's proof that he actually did anything wrong, then you know, we as a people will make an informed decision on how we feel about him. But as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going based on the body worn camera, based on his actions on that camera, I don't think that, and I would hope that people don't take him, the second officer, for being a culprit or complicit in this situation. Because at least he tried to help. I'm not even sure if he even fired his weapon. I'm not even sure if he had anything to do with his weapon, even if he even discharged his weapon. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. So, you know, until I hear differently, I'm going off of that he didn't do anything wrong. That he at least tried to help this woman. Clearly tried to help this woman. But that's my 2 cents on it. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful morning. I hope you got your coffee. I hope you got, some breakfast. I sincerely hope that you are having a great morning, whether you're getting ready for work, getting ready to, chill on your day off. I hope you enjoy your day off. But most importantly, I hope that you can take something away from this video and take something away from this, that we have to protect ourselves. Black people gotta protect self. It's time to protect ourselves. It's time to protect our women. It's time to look out for one another. We got to start using these resources in our communities. I know they're not the best, but at this point, I'm gonna tell y'all. At this point, I would rather call every mental health professional. I would rather use every application that we have available to us. We need to start looking up these programs because clearly calling law enforcement doesn't work for us. Calling law enforcement is not working for us. You can say what you want about, public safety and whatnot, but I don't know what really to say on that. It's ridiculous that we have law enforcement officials out here that are taking the lives of our people with no regard. It's like, what can we do? You know what I gathered from that video, from that body worn camera, from this whole situation? What I gathered was essentially what they're trying to say without saying it is, don't call the cops if you have an issue because we're more than likely to shoot you rather than the person that actually needs to get shot. That's what I gathered from that. I'm not saying that calling law enforcement is a bad thing. I'm just going off of what things look like. I'm just going off of how it looks, off of comments that I've heard. I've actually heard people say, well, if somebody enters my home, I'm doing what I got to do, and then I'm calling law enforcement to clean up the mess. Because clearly, as we've seen, calling law enforcement just doesn't work for certain people. And this is the part, and I'm going to leave with this. The part that really, really hurts my soul was the mom basically saying her mom predicted this was going to happen. Her mom basically said that I got a fear that something bad's going to happen to my child based on dealing with the cops. Her mom was like, please don't send any hostile officers. Her mom knew. Her mother knew that there was a possibility that this could go wrong with them dealing with her daughter. Them off that officer was not trained in dealing with somebody with mental health. Clearly, that officer was not trained to deal with someone who was going through a mental disease or defect. That was clear. He was mad that he was even there to begin with. But God help him. That's all I'm gonna say. God help you. God forgive him. Because the family's not. God forgive him. That family, her son, will not. That man gets to eventually go home one day to, I'm not sure if he's married, I'm not sure if he has kids. I'm not going to say anything derogatory or bad about his kids or his family because they didn't do anything. And for all my people that are out there on the internet, stop doxing that woman. I think I want to say he's married, but I'm seeing reports about people doxing his wife's job. Stop. Stop. Just stop it. Cut it out. Because they did the same thing to I'm sorry, George Floyd's people. When that whole thing went down, I saw people out there trying to dox homeboy's wife and all that. No, nah, we don't. We're not. We can't. We don't need to start doing that. That to me is kind of like that's pushing it too far. That woman didn't do nothing to them. That woman didn't do nothing to Sonia Massey. Let's not stoop to their level. We already got enough of that going on right now in the political arena. We don't need that associated with us. So let's keep it classy, people. Let's keep the subject where it needs to be on who it needs to be on, and that's this officer who broke the law in the name of the law, who disregarded human life because his ego couldn't handle a little bit of rebuke. because he had an issue with this woman and decided that he was going to take that woman's life. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the David Starr Experience. So please like and subscribe if you like the content. Normally, I have a little bit of a better presentation, but it's early in the morning and I couldn't wait. So I wanted to get this video done and out the way. I wanted to get my opinion said, put my 2 cents in, and then I'm going to go back to sleep. So everybody, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Let's be better. Let's do better. Let's show the world what we can really do. Go out there today and put on a smile. Even if you're not feeling the best, put your brave face on and come and go tackle this brave world that we got to live in. Be brave. Be strong. You ain't got to go out in the world and be all hard. You don't have to go into the world hostile and angry and bitter about whatever you're dealing with. You don't have to do that. That's not what we were put here for. But I ain't gonna preach to y'all. I'm not a preacher. That's not my calling. But I really hope that you all have a safe and wonderful day. Stay safe out there. It's hot, y'all. It's hot. Check on your peoples. Check on your peoples. Don't be having your peoples out here all in the heat and not checking on them, because this heat is a killer. It really is. Check on your peoples. Check on your friends. Check on your friends that's dealing with mental health issues. If you have somebody out there that is dealing with a mental health issue and you want them to get some help, there are a plethora of numbers you can call where you can get them some help. If they are in danger, then yes, you have to call law enforcement. I agree with that part. But if it's a situation where you think they need some help, talk with them. Phone call, a hug will save a life. They ain't gotta tell you the whole story, but sometimes you just need to give that one friend a hug, and then you can make the decision as to what you can do from there. But definitely check on your friends, even the ones that say they're strong. Check on them. Check on them. Make sure they're good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a great night. If you got to work tonight, stay safe out there in these streets. Look around, make sure that, ain't nobody trying to snatch you nowhere, because we don't need that. And I hope everyone continues to enjoy their day. David Starr out.